Hello and welcome to the Omnic Fallout. We are your hosts, UniEdge and Nymphadora. How are you doing today, Nymphadora?
I am good. I've been trying to wake up at a normal time lately, so trying to get used to regular hours.
Believe it or not, me too, but I just woke up 30 minutes ago.
It's
uh,
hard when you play video games until like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you're like, yeah, I should probably get on a normal schedule.
that and schoolwork and feeling sick.
Yeah, oh my god. I woke up yesterday, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, with no, yeah, it was yesterday. I woke up with a stomach. I don't know what happened. But it was like 5:30 in the morning and my stomach started just I felt like I needed to throw up, but it wouldn't come and it was just like oh god, it was awful. It was so bad. So bad. I was supposed to stream for a charity stream and I was like, "Yeah, nope, this ain't happening, guys. I'm sorry." Yesterday was a rough day, so I feel you on the getting sick thing. So how's school going?
It's going well. Just started my psych class yesterday, no, Monday. So that was interesting. It's definitely not what I expected, but hey.
Have you got your grade back from your other class?
It's actually what I'm checking right now. I didn't as of this morning. Like I hadn't got my final, but like I don't think I'm gonna get anything bad. I think I'm gonna get a good grade because I put a lot of work into it. So,
Awesome,
but no, I haven't got a grade back yet on my last two assignments from my last class. Should be up tomorrow or the day after.
awesome, very nice. So, I guess let's get into it, man.
So I saw a lot of funny things about this. A lot of people, not a lot of people, well, I guess a lot of people because there was a YouTube channel like reporting on it,
Uh huh.
thought that Battle.net was, I mean, Blizzard was moving away from Battle.net because of the stupid like DDoS attacks,
Oh my
which had
god.
nothing to do with it. Like they're not moving away from the infrastructure of Battle.net; they're just
Uh
changing the name. But yeah, they're changing. They decided that they're going to go with Blizzard Tech as their name replacement for Battle.net.
Well, I mean, everybody knows Blizzard. I mean, I think it's smart to go to that because when people think of Battle.net, they don't always associate it with Blizzard. Like everybody knows what Blizzard is. So I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, it's not stupid. I think it makes sense.
I mean, Battle.net was always owned by Blizzard. Like BNet, like it just. I mean, they couldn't. They should have just like dropped the addle and then just made it BNet, and that would have been all right.
Yeah, yeah, that would have worked too.
Or
Um,
Blizzard.net.
yeah. Uh, I mean, it's just a name change. It's nothing else. The infrastructure's still there, all of that stuff. So, um, yeah, that came out what a couple weeks ago. We just forgot to mention it last week.
It came out last week. We
Um,
did mention it briefly that they're going to be moving away, but we didn't know what name they were going to be moving to yet because they hadn't announced what name they're going to move to yet.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just little things like. But it's kind of sad because it was coming up on what it's like 15th anniversary, like this month or next month.
Really, 15th
Yeah, it was going to
for
be their 15th
for Battle.
Battle.net
Oh wow, damn.
because it launched with Diablo.
Oh, see, I didn't even realize that. I thought Battle.net came out when they started making everything on the same launcher. I had no idea that it's been around that long.
No, it's was the infrastructure that they've used for all of their online games, including World of Warcraft. Back to date towards Diablo, it was the first like so that you can connect and play with your friends. They used it. I mean, of course, like anybody who's ever played Warcraft 3 remembers like having to create a Battle.net account and then creating multiple Battle.net accounts so you could have multiple accounts because it was just like really that easy. It was just like Boop boop boop.
I started with WoW, so I never had to, because you didn't have to do that when you in the beginning with WoW.
Oh, you had to create an account. It was still through Battle.net. It's just that it wasn't labeled Battle.net.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, the transition was easy for me. So,
I still
Kaplan.
remember when the Armory was its own website.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, yes. That's right. I forgot about that. Um, but so Kaplan came out with an interview recently, uh, discussing how they went from Titan to Overwatch, and uh, I found it interesting that it was 7 years, 7 years, and then they canceled it. That is
Well,
a long
we
time.
knew, we knew about the 7 years, but like they never gave us any details or anything about it. And so far, like I haven't been able to read the whole thing yet because, like I said, I just woke up and. But from what and this just came out like last night.
I think this morning is when it came out. I think the interview was yesterday, but this morning is when it came out. Um, but
Yeah, it.
yeah, it's a really good interview. I posted the link in the Twitch channel. But it's a really good interview, and he goes into like really big detail about what the failure was and like why it just didn't work, and um, he's
Well, like
basically they just weren't feeling it anymore. Like after 7 years, they just weren't as happy with it as they felt they should have been.
yeah, I see this interview of them beating the drum again that they were beating when they first announced the cancellation of Project Titan. Because when they first like this was basically everything that they said, just exaggerated upon. Like it's exactly the same, but this time they're giving references of
Hmm.
what they wanted it like to be a little bit, but not really. Like it,
Yeah, and they go into
they couldn't find the
detail.
fun.
They go into detail of exactly like what inspired them to do Overwatch. Yes, Team Fortress 2 was a big part of it, but so was Half-Life, Half-Life 2, the entire Quake series. Counter-Strike, it was more than just Team
Unreal.
Fortress 2
Yeah.
that put it in to play, because they liked all of the first person shooter games, but they also liked the MOBA style arena, you know, with like Dota, League, and Heroes, which is why they combined basically a MOBA and an FPS, which is essentially what it is because it's the capture point, which is kind of what TF2 is.
Mhm.
So, they it's a really good interview. I highly recommend reading it. I'm not going to go. I mean, it's a long interview, it's a long article. I'm not going to go into much more detail on it, but I highly recommend checking it out. You can just Google Business Insider Jeff Kaplan Titan Overwatch interview, and it should come up.
You already posted the link for it.
I did. I posted it in the channel. Um,
So if y'all want to check that out, that's there.
yep.
But yeah, it's an interesting interview, but it's not information that we didn't already know because they've given this information before, especially when I do remember when they did the Overwatch interview with Game Insider or something. I can't remember the name of the company that they did it with, but it was when Overwatch first came out. They did this series of 3 videos, and one of the videos was like talking about Titan and how like it failed and that Overwatch came out of the ashes of it essentially.
Right.
And that's when they also talked about their inspirations and what they wanted it to be like and what made them decide to go that way.
Mhm.
So that was that. I mean that it's just like a reinforcement, I believe.
Yeah, it's really cool. I thought it was a good interview. I think it's really cool and really shows a lot of like who I just think it's a good thing for Blizzard to do, to show, yeah, we failed, and this is what
Hmm.
happened when we failed. Like we take our failures, because one of the things he said was Morheim has said on numerous occasions we've canceled as many games as we've shipped here at Blizzard. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. Not everything that a game company puts out is going to be a good thing. And not everything a game company announces that they're going to do is actually going to make it to shelf. And uh, that's just the industry. That's just what happens. And even titans like Blizzard fail, you know. So and
And Blizzard is like the biggest about canceling a project that they don't fully believe in. Like they've gotten, I mean, we've seen it. We again, like last month, we had a game that leaked that was canceled back in the '90s. That like was a point click adventure of Warcraft that got all the way to the completion stage, and they like pulled the plug on it.
that's one of the things I really like about Blizzard is put out they don't just put out a game that, okay, well, it's finished, but it's mediocre. No, they make sure that if they want to play it, they're going to put it out.
Hmm.
And I think that's one thing that sets the bar for Blizzard versus other gaming companies is that they don't put out just anything. They will cancel it if they don't think it's going to do well and they
Rest
don't
in
like
peace,
it.
StarCraft Ghosts.
I mean, you know, there are some occasions, but um, yeah, nothing new with Diablo or StarCraft because both of those games are just kind of
Just a bunch of rumor mongering about we're gonna get some stuff in BlizzCon, blah blah blah.
yeah, just same old, same old. Hearthstone got a big update on nerfs and stuff for cards. Um, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. I posted the link in the channel, but there were quite a few cards that they went
They
and
are nerfing a Shaman
balanced.
a lot, so if you play Shaman, it's getting a lot of nerf, apparently.
Yeah, and I think they're nerfing. I hope they're nerfing Cthulhu because Cthulhu is absolutely no. They're nerfing
Yogg-Saron.
Yogg-Saron. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to nerf Cthulhu, or they need to put in a card that can counteract Cthulhu.
I have not played. I can't even like. I haven't played Hearthstone and.
I played it this afternoon. I streamed it with my husband because he's a really big card gamer. Um, he used to run like L5R tournaments and do different tournaments and stuff. So he really knows how to play like card games. Um, so one of the things that I noticed that I don't like about I have a really big issue with Hearthstone. I want to like the game because I liked the WoW card game a lot.
Mhm.
I
Oh, I
enjoyed
do too. But I liked the collecting aspect of it the most.
and that I hate the fact that you have to spend so much money on Hearthstone in order to properly play the game. I think it's stupid that just to be able to win anything, you have to pay money for the cards. Like
I mean, it's. I
you're
mean, they
not,
have to make business free to play game to begin with. They have to make business something out of it.
but the
But
fact that you have to lose 100 games just to earn one card is a little ridiculous. I know, I'm exaggerating. I feel that, like with any card, the problem is it's a card-based game, but they're treating it like a video game. And even if you do a WoW, even WoW itself, the WoW card game, I was given a basic deck to start off with. You're not
mhm.
given a decent base. You're not given a basic deck to start off
You're
with.
given a basic deck, but not a decent one.
I mean, you're not given shit in Hearthstone. Like you have to earn your basic deck for your different heroes, and I think I think therein lies the fault with Hearthstone, is they don't want to give any kind of anything. They don't. You have to spend money, or you have to lose a bunch of times to eventually win stuff for your character. And it's like, all right, guys, come on. At least make it a little bit easier to earn gold so you can buy
Well,
packs or
okay.
something.
In defense of the Hearthstone system, the things that I found interesting, but one thing that I'd also wish that they would fix about it, like they would add, is you can earn a pack every week for free, or is it every week? Yeah, it's every week, right? From the arena, not the arena, the
The play, if you win like 2 games, you get like 5 card packs or something. I think that's one of the quests.
no, no, I'm talking about the thing where they test something every week.
Oh, the tavern brawl.
Yeah, Tavern Bro.
Yeah.
I could not remember the name of that to save my life.
The problem
Yeah,
is you gotta
they
win
do that,
though.
but huh?
Oh, yeah, you have to be level 20 just to get into it.
Oh, well, I haven't started a new account in so long for Hearthstone at least. But I do remember like that's a really cool thing about it is you could get a free card pack from that. The arena is always like a decent way. At least you'll get one pack from it, and you'll get some dust from it, so you can make your own cards. I do like what they did with the duplicate system because you don't see that with a lot of card games, especially that put in a system to where you can destroy the cards that you don't use and then make new cards. Usually, it's like, especially in a free to play system, I've noticed because I've been playing a lot of the card games lately on iPhone
Yeah.
and I played a little bit of Chronicles, which I've come to the assumption that I don't like most card games to begin with. But well, I like card games. I don't like online card games, if that makes sense. I like the
No, it
collection
does.
aspect of collecting the cards. I've always liked that, but I've never been a big fan of actually playing them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think, like one of the things that you have with your, in your hand card games like Magic or L5R, which still exists to some extent, um, not
People still play the
much,
Warcraft card game.
but you have something in your hand and you can give those cards away. Like you can sell those cards back and try and make some,
Mhm.
some kind of money back. Whereas with Hearthstone, you're stuck. Like you're stuck with these
Well, I mean,
cards that.
that's they put that on them. That's all card games though that are online. There's no card games online that you could sell your card. Well,
That's
there's a
why I think
few
there's an issue with
exceptions.
online card games. I think you
Yeah.
should. I think that you should have the ability to trade cards. Like if it's a card that you're not going to use, but it's something that someone else could possibly use, you should be able to trade it with them, not
The problem with
just
the problem
disenchant
with
it.
that is though is you're gonna get people that abuse the trade system. And I can see where they're coming from. You're gonna get these people that they go and they create a new account and they do all the beginner missions that you get the free card packs for, that you do all the extra stuff that you get the free cards for. Then they trade whatever they get that's good over to their main account and they just keep doing that. They keep making mules and then like it and I can see where like that's like, I don't want to
Yeah,
do that.
I that I, I can see that. I Yeah, no
See,
system's going to be perfect,
that's
unfortunately.
that's the main problem that that online communities have had with trying to open up an economy, a marketplace within a game. World of Warcraft has been ripe with issues like this for the longest time because you have a marketplace where you can trade gold, you can trade items, but people abuse that and they sell gold for money, they buy gold for money, and they've tried other things to fixing this, but nothing really ever fixes it. They always get ahead of them. I mean, it's any game at all that has an online marketplace. They get abused quickly, and it's just either something they have to learn to deal with or get buried by it. And Hearthstone, if it were to happen, it would be so unbalancing for them that it literally destroy the game for players. There'd be
I
nothing for
could
them to do.
I could see that. I could see that. I do think that it's not friendly to new people. It's not if you even if you've played card games before, because it's not the same as the WoW card game in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't play the same. I mean, it plays the same as most card games, but it's not the same thing as playing like the WoW card game. So
I've still got my WoW cards. Like I've got
we
like
do too. We still
I've got
have,
like 6 shoe boxes of them. Like the shoe box
yeah,
packs they would have.
uh
I've
huh.
got 6 of those,
We still
7 of those.
have hubby's Magic the Gathering cards and a bunch of his L5R cards because he's got a bunch of like really valuable cards. Um, he's a collector.
I
And
am too. I've
it's it's frustrating because I cannot. It's not easy to pick up in any way, shape, or form. Even if you do have a background in card games, unless you have a really deep background in card games, Hearthstone is not easy for a beginner. And there is not a single podcast out there that I have listened to that does a good job at explaining to you exactly how Hearthstone plays. And this is
I
someone who is a beginner.
I would say that if you're looking for a podcast that describes things very well for beginners, start listening to Garrett Weinzierl and Willie Dills. I can't remember the name of the podcast off
Are
the
you
top of
talking
my
about the
head.
Angry Chicken?
Yeah, the Angry Chicken's really
Yeah,
good.
no. I've
The
listened to that
beginning.
one and it just
Yeah.
it just goes over my head.
Well, once you start to get into the game, you start to understand the things they talk about. You had to have context with anything. And I found when I was starting out to play Hearthstone back when it first came out, I found their podcast very entertaining and very like helping,
Like
helpful.
I know Joss, who's on the podcast with them,
Hmm.
and I mean they do a great job. My husband listens to the podcast, but he has to translate what they're talking about to me because it doesn't. For some reason, it doesn't. I need it explained to me in layman's terms, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of times that they'll introduce like some kind of like acronyms, and I hate when people bring acronyms into things and like code names for things, like certain types of moves. Then it's just like, okay, well.
And they do a great job. Them and Well Played, which is Kick Tripod's podcast. Both of those are, I think, some of the in the top 5 podcasts, and we know both of those guys over there, and they do a great job. I just
Mhm.
I need someone, which I somebody actually suggested a YouTube tutorial called the Trump.
Oh, Trump, yeah,
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 something
Trump plays or something,
Trump
yeah.
basic teachings or something. Apparently, he is like really good at giving you. I'm gonna watch it and see if he does a better job. I mean, I get it. Like, I understand the concept of the game, but it's like when you go to counteract certain things, it's like, oh, I don't have the card to properly counteract that, and I have nothing else in my basic shitty bundle to counteract that card because it's not your. It's just
So
yeah. Anyway.
Icy Veins to begin with. Icy Veins has, or at least it used to. I went back when I started playing, had really good decks that you can make out of the starter deck. That they're not going to be the best things that you could do, but they're going to give you the edge that you need to get the cards that you need.
Okay.
And I've noticed that they usually have like a good like put these cards in your system if you have them. If you don't have this card, replace it with this one, and then you'll have like a
See,
decent deck. To,
that's what I need to know. Is like, okay, I need this card, but I don't have it. What can I replace it with? Kind of deal.
yeah.
Because I've tried Hearthpwn, and I think you need to know a little bit more. I think you need to know more in order to use Hearthpwn because it's kind of like a plugin. It's like you build your deck and it tells you, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not at that point. I don't know how to build a deck yet. So, and the tutorial in Hearthstone doesn't really teach you very well how to build a deck.
Yeah,
So I have issues
it
with Hearthstone, and I really want to learn how to play it. I want to like it because I like card games. So I'm forcing myself through Hearthstone with the husband to play it. I bought the welcome bundle this afternoon, which actually gave a good amount of cards.
and you're guaranteed a legendary with it from the classic set and everything. It's,
Hmm.
the thing I don't like, and this is what I was trying to bring up earlier that I forgot to bring up. Uh, okay, so I buy collector's editions a lot. I buy all the collector's edition of anything Blizzard that comes out in the past like 10 years. Well, 6 years, but. And when they come with a Hearthstone pack, it's always a classic pack. It's never Goblins Gnomes pack. It's never anything like any of the new packs or even like the semi-old packs. It's always the classic pack, and you can't really get much from the classic pack anymore, especially not the stuff that you need to make a decent deck anymore. And it's like, oh, cool, well, you gave me the classic cards, like, uh,
uh, yeah, because I mean Cthulhu right now that everybody's having to fight up against.
Hmm.
And there's not really a good card to counteract. I mean, I know people have been able to do it, but it's hard to counteract him if people play him the right way. He
Hmm.
can, like, there's a lot of hate towards Cthulhu right now. And I can understand it. I completely understand it because I had several people drop Cthulhu on me today because I'm like, oh, I got you down to 2 points. I just got one more thing and I can kill you. And then boom, Cthulhu, and he just takes me out. It's like,
Yeah. Anyway,
that's,
let's move away from Hearthstone for now.
uh, but anyway.
We've been going on about Hearthstone for a little while now.
So, the welcome bundles are still available for Hearthstone. They're pretty cool. Um, Heroes. The latest thing about Heroes. Blizzard is basically taking over the esports arena for Heroes.
Which they should. They should make sure that they have a good handle on that. They don't want people to come in and take over the marketing and take over the just about everything about it and basically leave Blizzard with a stick to shake.
Well, basically, what they're doing is they're creating a standard format for it because there isn't a standard format. Like, if you compare it
They've been
to,
trying for a while too.
they have been, and if you compare it to like any sports, you have NFL, Major League Baseball, hockey, soccer. They have a standard setup for for the leagues, and esports doesn't really have that. So Blizzard
Yeah.
is taking at least Heroes into their hands and saying, okay, we want to make this basic setup that everybody follow, that we have official, tournaments, official divisions, official, everything like that, and we create this. And
The biggest like problem that's going to be with a lot of it is one, MLG is a very hard market to get around. Like I'm just talking about Major League Gaming in general. I'm not talking about the company MLG, uh, which I think is like a very like apropos like they. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. It's very hard to make a market around it because first of all, it's an emerging market. Just like when NFL and everything was coming out, nobody wanted to invest into it. Nobody was like, that's just a game. Nobody wants to invest into it. Nobody wants to add money in it. Nobody wants to put prize money in it. Nobody wants to pay the players. Like it's the same thing. It took one investor investing a massive amount of money into it to push it into the public sphere of being a realm of acceptable entertainment in a sense, like to watch it. And it it's going to be one of those things where it it's going to be extremely hard for video games
oh,
to
definitely.
become an MLG because I mean to be a become a major sport essentially, I guess you could say. Feels really weird calling it a sport, but you know what I mean.
Well, I
And
mean,
it's going to be
it
hard for them
is
to come into that sphere because it's like if you took baseball, football, soccer, everything, and put it into one, and then like, well, we're just gonna we're gonna like, I don't even like draw a card out of a deck and decide what game we play today. Like,
it is. I mean, it is a sport in a sense, and somebody has to step up and take that, and Blizzard is basically doing that. Like, League has some standard formats for its series, which is why it started coming back, and why it's like League of Legends is one of the biggest played, you know, series that
mm,
in esports. So, um, I think that you have to have someone that takes over at least a game and creates a standard format for that game. So I think this is smart on Blizzard's part because I think that because what they're also going to do is punish people for having players leave. Like getting rid of players. You have 3 months for players to get to know each other. You're not going to develop anything for 3 months.
mm.
You need more time to be able to get to know your teammates and to mesh well properly. So, uh, I think this is a really, really smart move.
The one thing that Blizzard could do that other companies couldn't do, well, other than like EA and stuff to that nature, I'm not talking about the giant publishing houses, but the one thing that Blizzard can do that I think others can't do, if that they were to jump into the realm of esports and take hold of a lot of this, is they can push forward a lot of their own IPs.
Mm-hmm.
And because they do have the shooter, they do have the RTS, they do have the MOBA, I mean, well, Hero Brawler, but
Yeah. The
the card
yeah.
game. They have the MMO with the arena section. They have all kind of other different various aspects that they could get into and start, you know,
Yeah.
making a market out of it.
And I mean, honestly, it's a smart business move because esports is, I mean, it is a growing thing. People want to see more esports things, but it's the problem of there is no standard operating procedure, basically. So it's like you're kind of watching this, but not really understanding what you're supposed to be
And
watching.
again, it's hard. Like I was saying, it's hard to make esports into a easily digestible thing because no matter how good the shoutcasters are, no matter how easily understandable the game is, you're going to have 17 games out there that are all vying for your attention, that are all having esports tournaments, that are all having their own thing go on at the exact same time.
Well, that's the same
It's come
thing
to the
as
point
with
where
like
there's
baseball or football. It's the
yes and
exact
no at
same
the same
thing.
time. Not really though, because when you're talking about baseball, it doesn't matter what what baseball team is playing. It's still all baseball, and everybody understands the basic rules of baseball. They understand the basic things that are going on. They understand, you know, that they have to run all four bases and to score. They understand that. But when you bring in a video game, it has different rules. It has different settings. It has different everything that could
But
be possibly
each game
different
is gonna
every
be
rules.
like each game is gonna be its separate league essentially. So you're
And
gonna
that's
have.
what I'm talking about is the problem.
I don't think that's a problem because I think that people who like whatever game they like, they're gonna naturally draw to that. Just like people who like
What I mean by
sports.
problem, let me explain what I mean by problem. Is you're going to have such a big market and such a diverse market that nobody's ever going to have if anybody has the majority, it's going to be short-lived, and we're already seeing what happens when the vacuum of a game leaves the esports sphere. We saw this 3 months ago when StarCraft stopped being such a mainstream thing. When the StarCraft RTS esports arena just started to slowly stop not paying their players as much, not being as viewed as much. Like things just started, their market started driving away. It dried up and it's starting to die, and you see people not moving on to the next game by any means. They try to stay in the same game, but they end up doing corrupted things, and it a lot of it, I just see a lot of corruption coming out of it just because you have to do something to keep it interesting if you're not the developer. If you're just the player and you're like, I'm going to lose money if this game tanks.
I
Do you see
think
where I'm coming from?
I think that that's essentially the same thing as soccer then because you have soccer everywhere, but you have various leagues for soccer. You have the British Premier League, you have the German League, you have so
Again, though, what I'm saying is
but
if
you
you play
have
soccer in one country and that the economy tanks in that country, if you're a good enough player, you can go to another country or you can go to another team and play for that team, and it's still the same rules, it's still the same everything, and you understand how to play that game. But when you go from another game to another game, it's hard for even a pro gamer to be like to convert all their knowledge of this one game into another game and have to learn everything all over again and become pro at everything all over again, only for it to last for 1 to 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 years before they have to move on to the next thing because the game that they're in right now is slowly starting to sink. And it's going to be this jumping from ship to ship to ship to ship to ship that
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
catch up with.
that esports is ever going to be as big as regular sports for that reason. But I
That's what I
don't
mean.
think that means
It's gonna be rough because there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want to get into this, and you're talking about the whole aspect of leagues with soccer, right? the thing that I see with that is you're going to have leagues that burgeon out of these games themselves. Say something that's as big as League of Legends, you're going to have several different circuits in League of Legends, and not all of them are going to end up going in the same area as like the major tournaments or anything like that. But when you have that, everything's gonna be vying for your attention, and these little small circuits are gonna dry up because whenever the big game comes out, nobody's gonna be paying attention to the small game. But then you're gonna have another game that's also vying for your attention, and another game that's vying for your attention from that game.
I think that I still think it's. I mean, because you've got normal sports. Seriously, you have to choose from different sports, and not everybody's gonna like the same sports, because there
Mm-hmm.
are a shit ton of sports out there. Uh, so you're essentially taking different games and creating various leagues for those different games, which is the same thing as going with an NHL, NFL, soccer, whatever. But it's
Yeah,
never going to be as big as those
I
because
know it's not. That's what I'm trying to say is it's gonna be
I don't think that it's.
it's gonna be a rough market for anyone that gets involved in playing in them. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think
Is
it's one of
the
those
competitors.
markets. I think it's a market that people shouldn't expect to become millionaires in.
Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that it's going to be hard for these players to live off of this if this market keeps growing the way it does, but it also doesn't figure out a way to make sure that it. I don't know. I see a lot of issues with it personally, and it may not. It may be issues that only I see, and that nothing comes out of it. But I see a lot of problems coming out of this. But I want it to grow and I want it to be big and I want everyone to be part of it and I want, all these things to happen for it, but I just see a lot of issues with it and I see why so many companies are so hesitant in one investing in it. As a potential like as an investor, I could see a lot of issues of being like why would I want to invest into something that is going to disappear within a year? That doesn't offer me a lot of security as an investor. And I can see a lot of issues with it. It's just what I'm trying to say.
I understand those issues, but I yeah, I just don't agree. But anyway, so a new map finally hit. The second new map for Heroes finally dropped,
Hmm.
and Zarya dropped. Uh, which she plays exactly like how her character does in Overwatch.
Yeah, I forgot.
Uh,
I thought she dropped a while back, but then I was like, no, she hasn't actually.
she just dropped yesterday, and I I heard from actual players they complained about her, but all of the reviews on her, the articles and stuff, are that she's really well balanced, she's really good, but playing with her and hearing other people who actually play heroes more than I do,
Hmm.
no, nobody likes her. So, there's some conflicting discussion on Zarya out there.
Yeah,
Along with those drops, you got a lot of character changes, and one of the biggest one is the Nazebo update. Nazebo's trees just completely changed.
yeah, I heard about that. No, a lot of people that play in Azuba, a lot of were freaking out about it too.
Yeah, it's like it's a big change. Uh, so if you play Nazebo on a regular basis, you might want to check
Read
that
into
out.
him, make sure what he's doing.
Yeah, and finally for Heroes, they are the. I was talking to you about the stupid MVP screen at the or scene at the end of the game. They're looking at into putting a leave button during the MVP scene so that you know, you don't get penalized for leaving the game early.
Hmm.
On Reddit, it was an actual person from Blizzard who said that they're working on that, so that you don't have to go through like the whole voting thing and everything. You can just leave and start another game.
Yeah, and hopefully that comes out as well with it. Uh,
It does take a long time to get through that scene. It's kind of a
Yeah.
long. It's longer than the
It's laggy
Overwatch.
too. I actually ended up playing some
Yeah,
hero, my friend Josh, and it really is.
it's weird.
It
It's
the one thing I see that they could do to fix it, other than the skip button that you're talking about, is also making sure the game in the background stops, so that
yeah.
the you can load the screen and it not be laggy and jittery as all hell. Like that's
It
really weird and offsetting.
it is. It wasn't implemented very well. It's the it's not like Overwatch's ending scene at all. I mean, it's trying to be, but it's not well placed. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will work. But
So,
wow, yeah.
an LFR opened up for Emerald Nightmare, so you can fight Il'gynoth, Nethel, I can't,
Nathendra.
Nithindra, and then Renfurl. So you can fight those three bosses.
So Ursoc didn't. It wasn't Ursoc that opened up
Ursoc and the Dragons of Nightmare are gonna be next
next
week,
week. Okay.
and then Cenarius and Xavius are gonna be the last week.
Mythic difficulty also opened up this week. So if you went through Emerald Nightmare last week during normal and heroic, you can do Mythic now.
So the race is on, and it's already won. The EU already won.
Of course they did.
Uh, and within 18 hours they finished. Exorus finished killing Xavius with hardly any problems
Jesus
on Mythic.
Christ. I just, we got through. We actually downed the first boss on Friday,
I
which
mean,
I was
no.
very
Oh, I'm
proud.
sorry. Exorus is a U.S. guild, not a.
Oh, it
a
says you.
I don't. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I
That's my bad.
I don't understand the point of getting through it so quickly, other than to say we're world's first.
It's always been that thing. It's like it's competitive gaming, but in WoW, it's competitive rating, and it used to be bigger than it is now. It used to be way bigger than it is now. I'm sure you remember seeing like live raids on stage at BlizzCon over the recordings and stuff like that. They would be like live raids. Like I remember like the first year I won, I think it was the last time they did a live raid, and that like it's just something that they've been trying for a long time to make into some kind of like e-sport format kind of way, but it's never gonna do
I
well.
don't think that's gonna do well for an
Yeah,
esport.
that's what I mean. It's never gonna do well, and it never did do well.
I personally like to take my time to go through the content. So, because rating is, it's not the end game, but sometimes it feels like it's the end game. Because you're geared out, you can't go any higher than what you are after rating. Even though I
Yeah.
know there's a ton of stuff to do in the game, but still. Um,
Well, this is what these people like to do. They like to get the progression. They like to do. I mean, that's what a lot of these guilds do, and unfortunately, a lot of them have disbanded in the past year. Like, we
yeah.
don't have many of the strong rating teams that we used to have. They're just
Because
not there anymore. They
Because
or
it
if
took
they're
so
there,
long to get new content.
no, not even that. It's just
Life.
it's a 11-year-old game, and people are tired of doing it. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's a grind, and we're talking about 18-hour days for people that do that. I remember when Lich King came out, there were
Hmm.
guilds that were pulling 18-hour days, and then they would
I
go to
remember
sleep,
that
and then
too.
they'd wake up, and they would do 18 more hours, and they would do this for 2 weeks until they finally beat Lich King.
Have you guys rated yet? Have you done
Uh,
rating for
yeah, we downed our group downed Nilgana Bub or whatever the name.
the
Uh,
the first one, the dragon, Nathendra?
yeah, downed Ursoc. We downed um Renfurl,
Do
but
you
we
guys
weren't
do it on one night or 2 nights?
2 nights.
Okay.
But we weren't able to down Il'gynoth, and we weren't able to down the Dragons of Nightmare. But I got in a pug group on Sunday after we were done raiding, and they were on Cenarius, and I downed Cenarius, and we got to Xavius, and we weren't able to down Xavius in the pug group. I think if we would have got a couple more tries in, we would have been able to get Xavius down because he wasn't
Xavius,
that hard. He just had really rough mechanics to learn within a pug group.
he's the last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Nice. We, I am the raid leader, so Friday was my first time leading a raid. And the fact that we downed the first boss in the first night made me happy. Because, I mean, I'm in a guild that is very, very casual. Like, extremely casual. Most of the people in the guild that we does PvP. But, we've had a lot of people join within the last couple months because they wanted to get ready for Lich King. So,
Hmm.
and most of the new people are people that want to raid. So, somebody had to step up and become a raid leader. And my husband led the raid team in our old guild, so it wasn't that much of a step. So, we did pretty well for a group that's pretty much never raided together. So,
Yeah. It's a very rough raid, especially Il'gynoth and Dragons of Nightmare.
I've
Il'gynoth
heard.
has so many mechanics, and Dragons of Nightmare, the tank swap is vicious. Like,
I have heard. I have heard. And you know, we're really lucky. We don't have. Well, I say we're lucky. We actually don't have enough DPS. We have more tanks and more healers than we
have
do
you fought
DPS.
Ursoc yet?
No, we haven't. We
Yeah, you're gonna find out why that's not a lucky thing when you fight Ursoc.
no, we have told people that they need to learn how to DP. They need to get their DPS specs up so
Yeah.
that we can. Because I don't want the thing to scale to tanks. I want it to scale for DPS.
It doesn't scale for tank or DPS, it just scales for how many people are in the room.
So
But it Ursoc is a tank check as well as a DPS check as well as a heals check. He is just an overall check to make sure that you're ready for the rest of the raid. Because
nice.
if you can't beat him, you can't beat anything else. But also, he is like one of the toughest because he has a soft enrage and a hard enrage. And the soft enrage is not very far from the hard enrage. As soon as you
Wow.
hit 30%, he goes into frenzy. And he has a very short uh, enrage timer as well. So
Jeez.
we beat him, but it was after 10 tries of like our DPS not being up to par, and it was the second night that we were able to do it because we were able to wean out a few of the DPS that weren't doing so hot.
Yeah.
But it
We
was rough.
we have the nice thing is our tanks are actually really really good tanks. The so we've got about four really solid tanks that we can swap out, you know, in case they can't tank that night or whatever. And a couple of the tanks that do no DPS were or who also have their DPS specs set up were really good DPS. So even me, I wasn't geared, but I had to go because you know I was leading the raid. My DPS was still pretty solid considering I wasn't. They've really given rogues some love. So
Yeah.
as long as everybody is geared, which I think this Friday everybody will be properly geared, we've got some decent, we've got decent DPS,
I'm
which is
I'm up
nice.
to 851 now, and on burst, I can pull up to 500k, and on single target sustained, I can pull 200 to 250k
Nice.
sustained. But it depends on it's on a fight by fight basis.
Right, right.
Of course, I'm not pulling that on Il'gynoth because Il'gynoth, I still don't do very well with AOE settings and mob swapping. Like have to reset because my damage is based on ramping up, not so much on
What do you
uh,
play?
shaman elemental.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So it's a lot of ramp up damage. So whenever I have to swap from target to target, it's like really takes me a good minute to get the trainer going. And
Yeah. That's warlocks are the same way because hubby plays a lock and it's a ramp up for him as well. It's a long ramp up for warlocks right now.
I wish that they would build the shaman like ramp up into the build instead of having, because a lot of my burst DPS is based around procs and not procs and activated DPS abilities, which is like I to me feels like a little like eh.
That sounds similar to what they want, what they're asking for the warlocks, because it takes so long to get certain things to build up that they want it to. Uh, they need, like, they just can't do trash at all.
Yeah,
Um, they're literally
unless you're
just for,
demonology. I
yeah.
think demonology does really well against trash.
So
Or it might be destruction. I'm not sure which one. I know one of them does really well on trash, and then one of them does really well on boss pools. They did get a buff this week though, so the buff did come out this week. Shamans, elemental shamans got a 23% increase to both their lightning and chain lightning.
oh nice.
I know a lot of warlocks got a 10% boost across the board on demonology, and I think Destro got
Uh,
a 11% across the board on all of their abilities, increase in damage.
did Affliction get a boost?
All warlock specs are getting a boost.
Oh, okay. All warlock
Yeah,
specs are getting a boost. Okay,
yeah, they've got the boost. They came out yesterday,
so that's good.
and and I know Frost DK's got a boost, which they really needed. I know that everything got like, either like a little small nerf or a big boost, so everything's starting to get like a little bit more
And
tweaked and back in order.
I think the priest were nerfed again, which the priests need to be reworked. Period. They're not. They've done some really weird shit to the priest in this expansion. Everybody I know that plays a priest are not happy with how they've done the priest.
Yeah, well, at least disc is weird.
It's really weird. Shadow is okay, but most people play disc, and yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't play a priest, so I don't really know too much about it. But that's about all I got for WoW. Now on to Overwatch.
Hmm.
So Symmetra, they are doing some internal testing to adjust Symmetra, because they've noticed that she is a very situational character, so she's not played quite as often as they want her to be played.
I hope they don't buff her too much because she already is a little bit powerful when they do have somebody that does know how to play her. And I can only imagine that becoming like the next May cancer. It's like May is horrible right now. May did not need a buff. Like she is so unbalanced at the moment as far as like I played against some Mays yesterday and today that just made me like ugh.
Yeah, I thought May was actually fine before they gave her. I didn't think she needed any changes, honestly.
I think she needed a little of a change, but not as much as they did. And,
Um,
like at first, I thought it would be decent, but then like in practice, it's just become so rough.
I don't. I agree with you on the May change. I completely agree with you on that.
Mm.
I don't know what you would do to change Symmetra though. Like she is a situational character, and there is. I mean, but I've played with people who play a good attack Symmetra.
Yeah,
So I think she's just got a really large learning curve. It's just one of those characters that.
I get anxious with anybody when anybody plays a turret character as an attack character. 'Cause I've never ran into anyone who does it right. Like
I
we had like three people that are like I'm attack bastion, don't worry about it, I know what I'm
God.
doing, and then like they're sitting there like a mile away from the point, like in turret form, not doing anything, and it's like,
Yep. I've only seen, there's actually a friend of ours who plays with us who does a solid attack Symmetra, and I've seen one good attack Torbjorn, and I'm like, dude, I hate you. Because we played against him, and it was like the best attack Torbjorn I have ever met.
hmm
And that was like, very rarely do I see good attack turret people. Um, so I don't know what they would do to Symmetra to make her not situational. I mean, turrets
probably
are
give her just
situational.
small amount of mobility, reduce a couple of her cooldowns, make the casting time on some of her turrets a little bit faster to get them up quicker. Maybe like
I
a
think
small damage
that
increase.
I could see them making her a little bit more mobile. That would help a little bit because she's not quite as mobile.
But
But
on the same hand, that would also make her ridiculous because small characters have an advantage in this game that big characters don't. And the fact that they're like really hard targets to hit and they're moving quickly, even if they're not don't have movement abilities, they're still like just like dodging better than anybody else can just because of their size.
I have noticed that when you are playing Symmetra, and if if you do find yourself having to fight people in close contact, your best bet is to jump around because you don't have to necessarily aim. That beam's gonna grab. It's like the Tesla gun. It's gonna hit something if it's close enough. So I don't know. Like I'm interested to see the Symmetra changes. I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen, but so the next little bit of news, which I thought was really really interesting, since you pretty much you've talked about this being an issue.
Yeah,
The
disconnect issues.
Yeah,
I knew this was gonna happen, and I knew this was gonna come up eventually.
they so there, but it's apparently a bug where when you get disconnected, you're not reconnected to the game,
Yeah,
and that and therefore you get penalized, which that's a huge issue in itself right there. Is not being able to get reconnected to the thing. So that's what they're trying to work on. And they're also trying to figure out, okay, what's the right amount of time to allow people time to get reconnected before they get penalized. So but they want to figure out why people are not allowed to, why people can't get back into the game first before they work on the other stuff.
yeah.
So they are fully aware of the issues because people are getting penalized and they're getting banned from the game and they can't play at all.
Yeah.
So
Well, temp bans, but yeah.
they're aware and they're trying and they're working on it. They're hoping to get something fixed by November.
And hopefully they do.
Yeah. And then last but not least, rumors of Halloween stuff coming, which if so, that would be really fun.
Hmm. I really do hope that they have like I want to see like Halloween costumes for all
Yeah.
the characters, and I mean it'd be too much to ask for, but I would love a Halloween map.
That would be, or you could do like a temporary where you put like cobwebs and stuff up on the current
Hmm.
maps. Just almost like a skin for the maps, which would be
Yeah.
super cool. I haven't seen, and I've seen that information, but not on official sites. So I don't know how official it is, but that would be so cool if they come out with Halloween skins and lines and sprays. I would spend so much money on loot boxes just to get stuff.
Hmm.
So that would be super awesome.
So another thing that came up is WoW related. They showed off the Anarchist Mana Saber, like what it's gonna be able to do. If y'all don't know, it's what y'all get from the quest line. Uh,
Uh, the quest line.
the quest line that's gonna be coming out in 7.1 for the Nightfallen.
Okay.
At the end of the quest line, you get this
Oh,
mount, and the flying mode of it looks like actually pretty good. Not gonna lie.
nice, nice. Yeah, I'm still working on that stuff. It is.
This
Uh,
is a completely different quest line, by the way.
it is like all of the world quests and stuff. They feel so super grindy for some
Yeah,
reason.
it does.
Like, and I
It,
know like it's not really that much different from
I mean,
um,
daily quests. Yeah.
dailies, but at least dailies, at the end of the dailies, I have something to hold on to. Whereas the world quests, like when I go do them, like it doesn't drop anything decent for me.
My favorite thing was rep grinding in dungeons
Yeah. Oh God,
because
yes.
it was equally annoying sometimes because you would always get dungeons that you didn't like, but it was also like not that bad because you would get a decent amount of rep from it, and you'd be able to get through it quickly, and it was not
Yeah,
that bad. It was like once
I
you
miss
finish,
that.
yeah.
I miss that. So I mean, they're not terrible because they're different types of quests and stuff. But like I
Mm.
just got done. I don't like you have to kill. You have to do 30 world quest at one point in your at least in the rogue campaign. I think you could do it for all of the class quests, but you have to do 30 world quests, and it's like, oh my god,
Mm.
really? This is so ridiculous. So I'm struggling to open up that third slot in my legendary weapon.
I haven't. I got that like instantly, and that was definitely worth it. Try like getting it
Yeah,
as soon as you can.
yeah. That's after we get done with this. I'm gonna back over into WoW and work on that. It's God and the profession stuff. When you don't have time to do that stuff, there is so much crap you have to do.
I don't do professions, like in the same sense. I just do gathering and disenchanting, and
Yeah.
then I just sell everything I get. And I feel like in 2 months I'll be able to buy whatever I want, and it'll be cheaper,
Oh,
and
I don't
I don't
doubt
have to
it.
worry about it.
I don't
Oh,
doubt it.
by the way, the movie came out. Warcraft movie
Yes,
came out.
it did. It came out yesterday.
I'm gonna pick up my copy on the 10th because for whatever reason Walmart decided to delay my order till the 10th, so I don't get
What?
my steelbook copy till the 10th.
I will probably go get the Beauty and the Beast movie and the Warcraft movie this weekend.
So
Because payday.
remember, Walmart's got the steelbook,
That's right.
and
That's right.
Target's got the weird collector's edition that comes with the cards.
Yeah, and you can change them. Yeah, no, I'd rather go get the Steel Edition.
Yeah, 'cause it comes with the Blu-ray, the DVD, and the digital HD version. So,
Yeah.
and it's got the real cool logos.
Plus, you get all the cool stuff for buying it, so
Hmm.
which will be neat.
Yeah.
But that's about it for the week. I'm actually working. So my goal is to try and learn all the characters in Overwatch fairly decently. So I'm working on Zarya and Zenyatta right now. So in quick play, I play those two the most, and Zenyatta is turning into a really fun character. I really like
That's
him.
good.
I like the changes that they made for him.
Oh, and to go over one last thing from last week that we were confused about at the end, just to give a
Oh
quick
yeah,
thing on it. You can get loot from LFR and you can get loot from normal, and without having to worry about being loot locked. And Mythic is also on a different loot lockout than normal and heroic.
yes, yeah.
So you can get loot from Mythic, I believe. Normal and heroic are on the same lockout, I believe. I could be wrong about that. They could be on different lockouts.
No,
I'm pretty sure they're on the same.
I think normal and heroic are on the same lockout, and then mythic is
And
its own, and LFR is its own.
yeah.
So
So
that's and I think that's where the confusion came into play,
mm,
was that normal and heroic were the same lockout.
yeah, so we got that down and everything's good on that. Anything else you can think of?
Um, Not in work. I mean, I'm trying to learn Hearthstone, even though it fucking pisses me off. Uh, I'm streaming. I will. Oh, Friday night I will not be able to raid, because I'm going to that Hearthstone tournament thing that I was invited to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I will have to come back and tell you guys how that is.
Hmm.
Yeah, going to Turner Broadcasting for an E-League event based on Overwatch. So that'll be neat. I don't know the teams that are going to be there yet cuz it's the finals. So we'll see. We will
Yeah,
see.
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. I hope you have a good time with it.
Me too. I've got a friend who's actually working, so I hope to run into him and maybe get to hang out with him a little bit. But
I can't wait to see what all is coming in the next month because in the next month we're gonna get the announcement of what band's playing at BlizzCon finally.
yeah, they're taking a long time to announce that.
Yeah, it's usually the month before. I always feel like it's sooner, but now that I look back on it, it's always the month before when they announce.
Um, I also got all of my transportation stuff happening is done. Like I bought my return flight and I bought my I'm doing the super shuttle to go back and forth from
Hmm.
the airport to the hotels because it's like $10. So,
Oh,
um, other than that, yeah, just streaming. Can find me on my channel. That's about it.
I should keep that in mind for next time I do. I fly in there because I did Uber, but Uber wasn't that bad. It was like $30, and I get to ride in a car and not on a bus.
Yeah. Are you flying into LAX?
I'm not flying. I'm driving.
Oh, that's right. You guys are. That's right. That's right. You said
Yeah.
you're driving. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna take our time on this trip, and like if we end up staying a little bit longer, then we end up staying a little bit longer. If we need to leave sooner, we can leave sooner. Like
yeah,
because there's a lot of playing by ear on this trip, so we'll have to see.
that'd be cool. Road trips are fun. I like road trips. So, are you gonna start? Are you starting the streaming thing too? Gonna
I'm
start?
gonna try. I haven't really got into it yet. Uh, it's still a lot of things I'm trying to square out and get in around into.
Yeah. Well, just holla at me. It'll be fun. Have to come in, support.
Oh, my back pop. But other than that, I don't have anything planned for this week other than just getting schoolwork done.
Oh, so fun. So much fun. Yeah, my week is.
And raiding on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds
Well,
like a good time.
yeah, you got anything, any streams you're doing this week?
Nope. I mean,
No?
no, not really. I have some random stuff, but nothing of note.
Well, this has been the Omnic Fallout podcast about Overwatch and other Blizzard games. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at theomnicfallout@gmail.com. You can follow Uniedge at Zauve, Xauve, and you can follow Nymphadora at Gamer Nymphadora on Twitter.
If you'd like to donate, you can use the link down below on the Twitch channel to donate. All donations go towards the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week at this place. Same time, same place. This is our new home forever and always. Thank you again, guys, for listening.
And y'all have a good one.